Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a great July 2nd before the 4th of July hits. You got a few more days to go. And since it's early July, that means it is NBA free agency time. Please do me a favor to everyone coming in. Make sure on the YouTube side to drop a like and subscribe to both the Hardcore Sports Network and Nikki Stee's channel. Yes, sir. We are rocking and rolling. We're going to talk some NBA free agency here. So we're going to start off with the big news, starting with my team before we get on to anything else. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. That's right. The Philadelphia 76ers have signed Paul George. That's right. That's right. That's right. We're going to share the screen with you guys real quick. Yes, sir. You see right there, Paul George, 4 years, $212 million contract right there. So for me personally, you guys know we've been listening to what I had to say. I was not a big fan of this move going into it. I was saying the Sixers should keep their distance from Paul George, try to pursue other guys. Now, some of those other guys that I thought the Sixers should pursue got signed elsewhere. It's obvious that they weren't pursuing those guys, that Daryl Morey in the front office, they had other people in mind. And obviously, Paul George, they were specifically eyeing up. And they got him on a 4-year deal. Now, on one hand, look, Paul George, when he's on the court, when he's playing, he's an exciting player. He goes out there, he can deliver some points for you when healthy. So on one hand, this looks like a good move. Even though he is 34, he can still produce on one hand. And I get it for the Sixers. After last season with Tobias, you knew he was gone. You knew you weren't bringing him back as small forward. So you wanted to go get a guy that had more credibility, that had a name. And Paul George is that guy. Now, if this were 4 summers ago, or actually 5 make it, back in the summer of 2019, then I would have been more excited about Paul George coming to the Sixers if he came then. But now, it's not nearly as exciting. And here's the reason why. Because we know he has an injury history. We saw the biggest thing with the Clippers, with their big two, with Kawhi and Paul George. Why it didn't work out is because when one was playing, it seemed like the other was hurt a lot of the time. The farthest they made it was that second season when they made it to the Western Conference Finals before falling short to the Phoenix Suns. But nevertheless, the point being, though, is that's the one concern about Paul George's injury history, because there's been some struggles there with him. He's had injuries before. Now, like I said, on the other hand, when he's healthy, he's still a good offensive scorer. He can still get you some rebounds, and that's something we need as a team here, because we were struggling with rebounds last season. And yes, sir, we got Coach Ed Gladney. Peace and blessings. Same to you, Coach. If you will be on Pick and Roll tomorrow, I will definitely see you then. If you stay in the chat for a little bit, I'll hear from you more. But thanks for stopping by. And with the thing, with Paul George, on one hand, though, like I said, the injury concerns are a downside. On the upside, he can rebound and he can still get some buckets when healthy. He is an upgrade over Tobias. That's the good news. But at the same time, he is also 34, too. So he's not a spring chicken either. Like I said, if we had got him summer 2019, I would have been a little more excited about the idea of it. But now that we've seen, his run with the Clippers, we've seen some good from it. Yes, we have. But we've also seen he isn't always there. Sometimes he could miss time due to injuries. He's had his body wrecked a little bit, and he's 34. So you think he's really going to be durable for the entire 4 years, especially by the time he gets to that point, he's 38. That's my one concern about this signing, and that's why I wasn't the biggest fan of it at first. But it is better certainly than Tobias Harris. There's that. Now, the upside to this too, though, is we did get Jared McCain in the draft, who can be a good bench piece. That's one good thing. Another positive is then you get Eric Gordon from the Nuggets. That's a nice one right there. He can be a good role player and help out. We got Kelly Oubre. So we're at least putting we put a few decent supporting pieces around to help with this Paul George move. And thanks, Coach. Yeah, everyone be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and select the notification to share to all social media platforms. Yes, Coach. Yes, Coach. Thanks for putting that out there. And that was great. And so I think this could have some potential to do some good. And this could also, at the same time, this is a bit risky, though, too, due to his history of injuries and his age. But we'll ultimately see how it plays out. I do think the offseason moves so far are better as a whole for the Sixers, but I'll get more into that later. We're going to keep this focused on one thing. But now with George, you got the big three. It's going to be Paul George, Embiid, and Maxey. And that's another thing, too, with the injuries point. We know Embiid struggles to stay healthy. It's been a theme throughout his career. It caused him to miss the first 2 seasons of his career. He didn't officially play his rookie season until 2016, 2017, but was drafted in 2014. So this has been a thing. It's been a thing with Embiid his entire career. And we saw it last season. It caused him to miss time. That caused the Sixers to fall down in the standings, go to the play-in tournament where they had to beat the Heat just to clinch the 7th spot. And we've seen sometimes he'll come into the playoffs less than 100%, so we know there's the history there. And then you got Paul George as well. We all know there's been big injury history with him. Remember a decade ago, he got the serious leg injury. He came back from that. But he's also had some serious injuries since then, too. That's caused him to miss some time. So you get 2 of your 3 guys from your big 3 have injury concerns. Now, Maxey, he hasn't had that concern yet. The good thing is with him, he's fresh off his first All-Star year. He can build on that momentum he had from last season and keep it going. So this is an interesting move right here. But it's also a risky move, too, for health concerns. Now, 2 of your top 3 players, you got to worry about, can they stay healthy? Can they stay healthy? So this is definitely a risky move for the Sixers right there. Obviously, it's a notable move, and it has some potential upside, but we will have to see how it plays out. Now, the other one I'm going to talk, next big move I'm going to talk about specifically is Klay Thompson joining the Dallas Mavericks. We all saw it. We've been reading the reports. We've been talking about it, specifically on pick and roll. But we talked about it. We said that we kind of knew it was possible Klay Thompson would not be returning in the fall of 2024 in a Golden State Warriors uniform. And guess what? It's happened. Now it's official. Now we officially see that, hey, Paul George is not going to be. Heads up, Mitch. How you doing? Thanks for stopping by real quickly this afternoon. So we got Coach Ed and Mitch in the chat. 2 of my compadres on the Pick and Roll podcast, which is only fitting since I'm using the background for this episode right here. And Klay Thompson, now we knew it was coming, but it's official. We just weren't sure where he was going to go. Now, as a Sixers fan, Mitch had put out the idea that we could get him. Obviously, it didn't happen, but the Sixers were a potential option. The Suns were considered an option. There were mock trades all around, talking about, maybe the Lakers, maybe this team, but instead, we ended up we did get it, but now, here's the official details. It was the Warriors in this 3-team deal signed D'Anthony Melton. Right. And then they get a 2nd-round pick for Charlotte. Hornets get Josh Green from the Mavs. And Klay Thompson ends up on the Mavs, 3-year deal. And they get a 2nd-round pick from the Hornets. That's a decent little package. Now, for the Mavs, I get it. They had a good run. They came close, but they were just outmatched by a better team in the finals in Boston. So I get for the Mavs, it's like, we have our big 2 right there. The biggest thing that hurt us in the finals was not having a lot of depth in terms of players that could be role players, maybe score you a decent amount of buckets. And I think the Mavs feel like, hey, Klay's that guy that could maybe help us out. I get the thinking of what they're coming from. Will it actually happen, though? That's another story. But I get what the Mavs are thinking. I understand the idea of we were able to get this far with Luka and Kyrie, the best backcourt currently in the NBA. It worked out. A lot of people had their doubts about it going into the season, but we proved them wrong by making the playoffs. We went through the opening round against the Clippers. Then we upset the Thunder. And then we pulled off the big upset against the Timberwolves to clinch the finals. And now Klay's here. Now, so I get it. It's funny how people want him to go to the Lakers and LeBron would have taken a pay cut for him. But we knew that realistically wasn't going to happen. we realistically knew he wasn't taking that. I mean, I understand some Lakers fans may have wanted it to happen. They may have wanted Clay there, but realistically, it wasn't going to happen. But yeah, now that's over with because that we're talking Clay's on the Mavericks. But here's the thing with him. Klay Thompson, from a productivity standpoint, declined last season. He declined, and that played a role in the Warriors falling down to the 10th seed and not even making the playoffs, losing to the Sacramento Kings in a playing game. That played a significant role in it. So there, right, you have that right there. That was a big, yes, that was the thing right there. You saw Clay's reduction in his productivity played a big role in that. So now you want to take Klay Thompson, who he's not, he's shown he's not that real number 2 guy anymore. And I get it. You're making him the number 3 guy, making him a role player in this stage of his career. I get it. But I think Klay Thompson, I think he personally, for long term, would be best suited with a team that has a bunch of young guys that could learn from him. And that could still happen with the Mavs with some of the bench guys. Maybe Klay could work with them a little bit, could help them out. Because Klay won't necessarily be a ball-dominant player like Luka and Kyrie. I get that. Maybe that gives him time to work with the younger guys. But is this really going to help the Mavs win a championship, though? Because it's not like if Klay Thompson would have maybe dipped by like 3 points or something in his totals, and okay, maybe I could I could maybe see that him being a third guy. And maybe this could work out. You never know, because the Mavs proved us wrong with Luka and Kyrie. We right around this time last year, entering the 4th of July, which would have been a Tuesday last year, but that's beside the point. We were all thinking, oh no, there ain't no way that's going to happen. No, this Luka Kyrie deal ain't working out, and they proved us wrong on that. So maybe we get proven wrong with Klay. Maybe some of our speculation gets proven wrong. He fits as that number 3 guy. I know my buddy at work who's a Mavs fan. He's happy about it. Ironically, one of our told me they had a conversation with one of our managers who's actually a Knicks fan who told him it would be a good signing. Now, will they be proven right? Time will tell. But hey, as of right now, I mean, this could be good for them, but at the same time, this might not be help them out. We will ultimately have to see, though, how it works out. See if this is a good or a bad thing. But hey, for Klay Thompson gets a fresh scenery. We get to see how he clicks with the Mavs. I mean, I'm sure Mavs fans, a lot of other Mavs fans are excited about it. But hey, we will ultimately have to see. I wish Klay Thompson the best of luck, and we will ultimately have to see how it plays out. But hey, we still got plenty of time for the season. There's still plenty of moves that could be made. And then you do get the Mavs got Quentin Grimes too. We'll see how he fits in. So I get what they're trying to do. I respect their strategy. You're trying to bring in these guys. Hope it works out. But we will see. Moving right along, before we go on too long about this one, we're going to talk about Isaiah Hartenstein joining the Thunder. This is a big one right here. Because Isaiah Hartenstein, he's a good role player. And he's a good role player who can fit in with the Thunder too. Because think about this team already. We got it. Loaded roster right here. We're going to bring this up real quick. Unfortunately, I got to do it separately, so I can't share the screen with you guys. And that's because, my computer, for whatever reason, if I put too many tabs up, it starts to overheat quickly. So, but we're going to look at this roster. But we know some of these guys. You got Hartenstein's joining. You got Alex Caruso's on there now, alongside SGA. And then you got Chet Holmgren. You got all these guys. Isaiah Joe got re-signed. Sixers, there's somebody they missed out on. As of now, you still have Gordon Hayward on the roster. And then you got some nice piece. You already got a nice roster right there. You got SGA's helping them out. I mean, the Thunder, now they're adding Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein. This team could really contend. I think the Mavs kind of – oh, sorry, not the Mavs. Yeah, but they saw we got, hey, Chad stopping by, one of our favorites in the chat through all the members of the Hardcore Sports Network. Thanks for stopping by. Another top favorite of ours in the chat, Daniel Berry stopping by. We got all the favorites coming in for this NBA free agency talk, folks. Yes, sir. So thanks for stopping by and keep it coming. And like I said, this is a good roster right here. You already got SGA. And then now you got Chet Holmgren came into his own. You're adding to it. You're bringing back Isaiah Joe. You got Alex Caruso replacing Josh Giddey, which is an upgrade for the Thunder. And now Isaiah Hartenstein. This team's just saying like, hey, look, man, we made it to the playoffs last year. We got upset by the Mavs. Now we're trying to upgrade, improve our depth so we can make a run for it next year. And I'm on board with that personally. I support that. And so I respect what they're doing. They're doing what the Sixers should be doing, what they should have been doing for a long time. And I think the Thunder, it's on paper, they could be contenders out west. But ultimately, as long as everyone stays healthy, as long as everyone fits in, they could live up to the potential and be contenders. So be on the lookout for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And not to mention, they still got some draft picks for the future. I mean, they went full in on this rebuild. If you ever wanted to know how to rebuild a team, take notes from what the OKC Thunder did in 2019 all season. Because now you see it's working out for them. But I think this is an excellent move for the Thunder. So far, I'm telling you, Thunder definitely hit on Isaiah Hartenstein. Sixers, Paul George, it's a risky move. Because now 2 of your big three have injury concerns. But the Sixers, they put some other decent pieces around them too. So I'm not completely mad about it, but it is risky. And then Klay Thompson to the Mavs. This is either hit or miss. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to take just a short break for you guys. If you got Mitch, Chad and Mitch, you want to keep talking in the chat, feel free to do so. I'm just going to take a short step aside for a minute. We right back. Then when I come back, we're going to talk about some of the other notable signings. Catch you in a minute.
I mean, listen, we're talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice.
He's heating up. He's on fire. Boom shakalaka.
All right, I'm back after that short little break. Now, we're going to start to wrap this thing up a little bit. We'll talk about the other notable signings a little bit. Because there were some other signings that happened. And we're going to go through it a little bit. Right now, we got the NBA trade news. I'm pulling this up from IG. But if any of you ever wondered why I don't share my IG links, it's because I don't really, use it. I have it, but I mainly use it just to look at some of the sports pages, breaking news, and share that with you guys. But let's get into it. We got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope now joining the Magic on a 3-year deal. That looks like it's got some potential there for the Magic. I mean, they did. They're fresh off returning to the playoffs for the first time in years. They're finally getting back on track for the first time since the Dwight Howard era. And you already got some solid piece there. You got Paolo Banchero, Cole Anthony, Anthony Black, Wendell Carter Jr. Now you're adding Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to the picture? That's nice right there. And that's a nice piece right there. And this could work out really. This could help out with the Magic. Now, does this necessarily make them championship contenders? Not quite. But it is a good depth piece, though. The thing is with the Magic, they're not quite at that point yet. They're not quite there yet. But I do think it's a nice depth piece. Then you got Chris Paul, 1 year to the Spurs. At this point, I personally think he should retire. I think he'll be a good announcer. But you know why he's there? Chris Paul just doesn't want to give it up. He doesn't want to give it up. And I think the Spurs, I will say this, it's good for him to be there to be a mentor to Wemby. And he can help some of the other younger guys out. So in that regard, Chris Paul's a good piece for the Spurs. Got Derrick Jones Jr., 3 years to the Clippers. I mean, it's a replacement piece, but I don't really think it moves the needle that much. You got Jonas Valanciunas to the Wizards. Well, Wizards got a lot more to do. I mean, you just need a veteran there to help out a little bit, bring some leadership to the locker room. You got Najee Marshall. Let's see. Mason Plumlee. All right, decent. Andre Drummond, I kind of went over that. I said, I mean, he'll be good because he gets us those boards. I mean, he's not going to be that much of a scorer, but he does get rebounds for him. And that's something we got from him the first time that we missed. We miss Andre Drummond getting those rebounds and hopefully he'll provide that for us. But hey, we'll have to see. But yeah, I think that's a nice pickup in that regard. He will get his rebounds. Sure, he's not going to be a great scorer, but that's something the Sixers were missing last season that they need. And you also get Eric Gordon on the 1-year deal. That could be a good one. That could be good for a bench piece right there. Kind of a prove it 1-year minimum. Maybe if it works out, we bring him back for another year. But I like some of those moves right there. And you got Kelly Oubre on there too. I mean, those are some solid pieces right there. I think we still got more time, though. We'll have to ultimately see what happens the rest of free agency. We haven't really had any big moves happen yet. I mean, the other notable moves, we got OG Anunoby returning to the Knicks, Maxey obvious, Siakam back to the Pacers, Emmanuel Quickley to the Raptors, Claxton to the Nets, Pat Williams back to the Bulls, Malik Monk to the Spurs again. All those re-signings right there. And you got Tobias to the Pistons. I don't know what to say, honestly. I'm flabbergasted. Tobias Harris to the Detroit Pistons. I'm trying to figure out what's the right way to put it.
Brick.
Yeah, that's what we'll just call it. Oh boy. I mean, I know the Pistons want a veteran, but Tobias, for a team that can't even make the playoffs. Oh, hey, we got Blaze as well. Hey, Blaze, another compadre from the Pick and Roll podcast, stopping by. He called it. Yep, he did call it. You're right about that. But oh my gosh, Tobias to the Pistons, dude. I know the Detroit Pistons are not an enticing option for free agents, but that team is so desperate for anybody that has just a shred of credibility. They had to go and get Tobias Harris, bro. But you know what? I feel bad for Crispy Flakes, the YouTuber, because seriously. Oh my gosh. I mean, what do the Pistons got to do? Seriously? I mean, they tried to bring in Monty Williams. We thought that would help. It didn't. They've gone through a lot of head coaches. Cade Cunningham hasn't quite gotten to that point yet. Now, granted, he's still a young player. He's still got time, but oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Even though, yeah, this is obviously going in the losers category, but seriously, I'm trying to figure out what value does Tobias Harris actually add to the Detroit Pistons? I mean, there's 30 teams in the NBA. You knew somebody would take him. You knew somebody would sit there and think, you know what? You know what would really help move the needle for this team and put us in a better direction? Tobias Harris. Yeah, the guy who scored 0 points in an elimination game for his previous team. The X factor for the Sixers, who constantly underachieved in that role and wasn't what an X factor was supposed to be. I think he'll move the needle for us, a team that's much worse. For whatever reason, I don't know what they were thinking. Oh my gosh. Come on. I mean, this is like the move the Cleveland Browns would have pulled back in the mid-2010s, trying to get an RG3 or Jason Campbell. I mean, or drafting Brandon Whedon. That's what this is. the NBA equivalent to? I'm still trying to figure out. I mean, I'm just trying to say. All I can say is, Pistons fans, prepare yourself for more of the same. I hope they would at least understand that this is going to be more of the same. Now, for the Sixers, though, we did get Kelly Oubre Jr. back. He showed us a spark last season. I feel it's good that he's back. Now, is he the greatest thing in the world to have him on the team? Is he the greatest player in the world? No, but he's a solid role player. He helps out. And we just need some role players to at least give us hope we'll go further for the future. What else do we have? Kevin Love rejoining the Heat. DeAndre Jordan rejoining the Nuggets. And then available free agents. Oh, we do got Gordon Hayward available. DeMar DeRozan's available. Hield's still available. I don't really know if we need him. Fultz is available, but I wouldn't bring him back as a Sixers fan. LeBron's available. Evan Fournier. I mean, some of these guys, the only player that out of these guys available that's even a bit noteworthy is LeBron, even though we know he's going back to the Lakers. They just got to put the deal to the contract together. It's only interesting, though, because we know we're going to get to see father and son on the NBA court. Even if we're not a fan of the idea of them playing together, it's at least something interesting just to see how it works out. Be like, this has never been done in the NBA before. It's been done in other sports, but not the NBA. We will have to see how this works out. And in case you guys are wondering what that is all the way to my right, to the left from your side of the screen, that's actually my pants that I'm washing outside. But yeah, so and we still got time to see what's going to happen. But most of the notable names have gone out the way. And we'll definitely discuss this more tomorrow in detail on the Pick and Roll podcast at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow on the Hardcore Sports Network. Inclusion Chronicles, I'm a Laker fan. Quick question though. How hyped are you about the idea of Bronny being on the Lakers? Honestly, you hyped about it? Feel free. But that's an honest question. That's all. But yes, tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be on here. It'll be myself, Mitch. If everyone shows up, Blaze Radio, Coach Ed Gladney, Next Shift Ramsey, and Rios. Now, I cannot promise that everyone will show up, but we will see. And Inclusion says it's good, then he can shoot more for Lakers. So he's a fan of the Bronny signing. And hey, it's good that you have hope for it. But come season time, we'll see what happens, man. We will see. But we have plenty of time before then. As I was saying, we will talk about it tomorrow, more 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Pick and Roll podcast on the Hardcore Sports Network with myself, Mitch. If everyone else shows up, Blaze Radio, Next Shift Randy, Coach Ed Gladney, Rios from Just Fans Podcast. If everyone shows up, but you will definitely be here for a group chat tomorrow on YouTube, Twitter, Hardcore Sports Network, all of our individual channels, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get to hear multiple takes of it. So to everyone that tuned in, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all your support. To everyone that came through the chat, Inclusion, Blazed, Chad, Mitch, Daniel, Coach Ed Gladney, I appreciate the support. I hope you enjoyed this stream. And just FYI, shout out to Spotify as well, because Mitch is putting up all the streams on the Hardcore Sports Network on Spotify. So if you want to catch this again sometime in the coming days, you can check it out on Spotify. And we got Butterfly coming in just at the last minute, dropping 4 likes. Butterfly, thanks for your last minute support before we go off. To everyone that came through, I hope you're having a great day. If any big news drops before tomorrow, I will do a YouTube short on it. You can find it on my channel. I will share it out on Twitter. Before I go, I will quickly share the link to my Twitter. So if you're not following me there, you can follow me. So again, everyone, I hope you're having a great day. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. The link to my Twitter to follow me. I will share the link to any short videos I drop later today if I do. So everyone, thanks for stopping by and supporting this stream. I hope you have a great day. Until next time, peace.